Oh, hello, and welcome to this wonderful day, and where we are going to do a little bit more work about solving equations with variables on both sides. But don't you worry, our goal is to understand equations with infinitely many or no solutions. So, as you did for warm-up, here, we can solve this problem. So let's use our magic. Most likely, most of us are going to distribute right there. So I get 4x plus 6 equals, that's an ugly equals, 6x plus 6. All right, now I'm going to keep working through this just to show the work what I'm doing. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides here. I'm also going to subtract 6x from both sides. Why am I doing that at the same time? So that the variables are collected to one side. All the variables will be over here. And all the constants will be on the other side. That is right here. Now, some of you object and say, Swenson, don't want to do that because I don't like negatives. Well, it didn't matter actually which side you placed it on because dividing 0 by anything will still give you 0. Okay, so here we end up with 0. Here we end up with -2. And continuing on, I divide both sides by -2 to isolate the x. And I end up with x equals 0. Now, what's nice is, yes, this is my solution. And yes, if I plug it in here, I get 0. So then this side is just 6. Plug it in here, I get 0. So this side is just 2 times 3, which is just 6. So we know that it works. But what we also know is that we have exactly one solution. And I like to abbreviate solution like this. Because there's only one number that works, that number being 0. So, what happens in other situations? So let's take a gander at this one right here. So notice almost everything's the same. There's just a few changes on the right side. So the left side stays the same, 4x plus 6. But now I distribute the 2 to get 4x plus 6. Now, some of you immediately might notice something right here. If you're not paying attention, you're just going to go ahead and subtract 4x from both sides, subtract 6. But do note that 4x plus 6 equals 4x plus 6. They are exactly the same on both sides. However, if you jumped ahead and said, all right, let me collect my variables, like so, and this gets deleted and deleted, notice what I end up with, 6 equals 6. And I might say to myself, oh, I'm done. This is the answer. And we have to pause. Because up here we're solving, implying we're trying to get what x is. What's the value of x? But if I were to if I were to try to get x by itself, the x's poof go away. So this, in a sense, is unhelpful. It's like asking me a question, hey, how do you get to the store? And I say, your car is your car. Well, duh, I already know that. But I didn't find out the unknown. How do I get to the store? So this here is true. It's a true statement. 6 equals 6. It's true, but unhelpful. Because this is true, but unhelpful, we have to interpret that. So this isn't necessarily part of the answer. This is just what I'm thinking inside of my head. The conclusion is every number works. Infinitely many solutions. Infinitely many solutions. Everything works. In other words, if I put a 10 here, I get 46. Put a 10 here, I get 23 doubled, 46. All right, let me put a 0 here, put a 0, etc. Every single real number works. In fact, not only every number, any symbol actually works too. So in the end, infinitely many solutions is my answer here. Not 6 equals 6. This is not my answer. My answer is interpretive. I have to interpret that. So let's go on and look down here of a situation where I get no solutions. Well, same on the left, 4x plus 6. Now I'm going to distribute the 2 to both sides here to get 4x plus 14. And then I'm subtracting 4x from both sides in order to collect my variables. So here I get 6 equals 14, and we say, wait a minute. That's not true. 6 doesn't equal 14. So again, excuse me, sir, how do you get to the beach? And they say, the beach is my potato. And you're saying, that just doesn't make sense. This guy's insane. And that's exactly what's happening here. No matter what number we put in here, this will never be a true statement, ever, no matter what. Numbers, letters, square roots of negatives, whatever, it doesn't matter. So now we have to interpret. Because this is false and also unhelpful, we have to interpret it to be no solution. In other words, there is no number ever, no number, no letter, no symbol, nothing that would ever make this a true statement. So our conclusion is no solution. All right, you got a few down here to practice, so please attack, kill, and destroy.